form, but lesser performances in the regional leagues. They're never the top seed out of Brazil, might translate to international play. New meta, new style of play coming into this, and the new matchup is the very first time we've seen these teams go head-to-head on an international stage, or any stage for that matter. And of course, Border, our desk talked about it. Maybe you look at this, not the map for ITB, but they have a good record on it.
Well, you and I watched ITV playing on this map in the qualifiers, and one of the things that they like to do is set up a very good drone network on this map. Now, there's a rumor that goes around about this map that it's all frag heavy, it's coastline 2.0. There are very key points of this map that you got to control, and security is one of the biggest power positions in this whole map.
The one thing that I always think about this map, and I see Furia, I see these players, I see this map. You know what this reminds me of? The semi-finals of the Invitational in Sao Paulo against Virtus Pro. Now, this game, absolutely, as we see Nate get the opening pick on towards Noah, but that game, we saw VP exploit any weakness they found against Furia, and it was a very, very difficult day for them indeed. And that was a slower strat-based team. ITB, a slower strat-based team, they might be able to find that same level of success. But you need to win your opening engagements, and unfortunately, Noah is first to fall on that defensive side. Oh, it's going to get much worse. Herd's going to get one more on the Creeds.
Yeah, Creeds will fall 5 versus 3 now. 2 picks on the board already, and not a foot stepped inside the building. Another gunfight. Oscar will find a trade as JV92 will fall with 2 minutes left on the clock, but already a change in pacing. Nade gets his second of the game. Down falls Oscar. As I said, they've not gotten into the building yet. They've got loads of time to work with. A team like Furia, they're just going to poke and prod now for a little bit. They're going to see if they can find the easy kill instead of just throwing hell for leather.
I mean, Furia have a lot of drones still to work with. They've only lost 4 in the entirety of that, and now they'll know 1 player is playing inside of CC. Not going to be an active threat. They'll spot that rotation. Herds just isn't quick enough for that. So, Kendrew, Oscar, the last two, or Azure, the last two standing. This is going to be a difficult one. They need to win this next encounter. Smoke cancers go out towards these stairs. They're going to find a little bit of chip damage, if any. C4 primed and ready, sent over the top, but it will find one. Kendrew does get nade. That's going to be a lifeline. The cross is good. This fight goes for ITV. It's going to be a chance, but Herds finds his second round. And Kendrew, 5 HP the dream, and very quickly Herds shuts down that dream, turns it into a nightmare of an opening round for ITB, and it will be an early lead for Furia.
Yeah, great round from Furia. They got the opening pick in the first 10 seconds. Nade got his first of a double on the round. It's a map where you don't need to enter the building at all to get those opening engagements. You can sit around the windows, you can bait, and as you can see, normally some of the defenders, particularly on less experienced teams, they're going to get over-aggressive, they're going to over-peak, and Furia are going to sit and wait for that kill. And as we said, Furia, you can easily put down the argument to say that they are one of the best teams in Siege history. They're definitely top 2.
You know what, they're definitely in. You know what, yes, I can agree with that one. There will be debate forever about the two dynasties, as much as I despise that phrasing to go into it. But of course, the triple crown going into it. So they do lead here by 1. The question that I have, and as we look at this for ITB, is can they control the pace of this matchup, and how well can they do on the defense? This map does slide towards that offense, and this is going to be, again, a survival mode a little bit for ITB. They want to mitigate as much damage as possible, and that's easier said than done against a side like Furia. Creed, a real standout player I want to point out here, needs to be able to find success and is very good at finding the gap. Now, Furia don't leave many gaps, but if there is going to be a single crack in this offense, Creed will be the player to find it and has the mechanics to make full advantage of that.
Azure, another player worth mentioning on the mirror, the IGL for this team, who also plays entry roles quite frequently for the side, and people don't normally know that Azure is the IGL because he plays that role, but it's a very important thing to do, which means he can call attacks around him as well to enable himself to have very good games for the team. So yeah, keep an eye on what Azure can do as well.
We haven't touched on the bans yet so far. Of course, Grim, Valkyrie, Azami and Monty were taken out before we jumped on board with our players for this. And that does mean Ying is available. KZ, Dawn's the operator from Hong Kong. And the thing about this that is going to be a little bit of an issue is Furia now have that availability of that massive 1, 2, 3. Candelas go off, let's get control. On a map that's as compact as Border can be, Furia are going to take full advantage of that. And I wonder how ITB will adapt to the addition of the Warden on Kendrew, a very clear adaptation of it. And a C4 sent out to the ether, a big bit of utility, absolutely wasted, and a bullet hole opportunity. As Siege timing will curse and believe Kendrew that was, as he falls away at the wrong moment to not make the full advantage of it.
The mirror window has fallen as well, which means that position on half wall is a little bit more difficult to play. So Furia, without getting an opening kill, are starting to gather some control on the map. Creeds now is just holding that angle from top metal, waiting for this peak. Creeds misses the opportunity to get the kill as KZ will drop down to 46 health points. But that's an opportunity lost. Those are the chances against Furia that you got to take.
But this is actually going to be a massive benefit now as they get that DBNO. As Creeds did miss that first fight, he falls back. And, well, he didn't drop that hatch. And Furia have got one player stuck in DBNO, a fair amount of damage done towards KZ, and time wasted on that recovery as Candela's covered that away. ITB are going to hold on to this control and drop away as late as possible to burn away as much time as possible. As JV92 still not recovered. And I think this opening pick might go the way. Well, no, Creeds does lose that one, but the trade is there. Azure finds it.
Gets a double on the round 2, using that broken mirror to find Nade, putting us in a 3v3. Makes a 3v2. Azure with a triple on the round. Noah finds one as ITB are on the verge of winning their first round against Furia. So, Philippox, he's inside of office. They know exactly where he is. Everyone's going to fall back. They're going to force him to make a mistake. There's Azure with a quad kill on the round. We spoke about him before. The IGL, he plays on entry, and he has a 4K in the second round to win a round for ITB.
Azure is an exceptional talent on this roster. I mean, I feel like you look at this team and you know, a lot of new players coming into it, maybe lacking that star power someone more veteran would have, but they're able to find results. And Azure finding 4 in this round, and ITB strategically looked incredibly sound on that. They held the ground upstairs, even after Creeds missed the opportunity to win that one. The down on JV92 was massively important, delaying time, but they held on as long as possible. And Furia, they weren't given a freebie. ITB didn't push into them too far, and without that opening pick, Furia couldn't find a way in. So again, that slower, more strategic pace that ITB do bring could be very, very detrimental to Furia's problem solving on a map such as Border. We've seen that in the past, and I'll draw a lot of comparison to that Virtus Pro game in the Sao Paulo Invitational, because that was the closest that we ever saw to what I'll call Prime Furia ever losing a map.
This must be such a big game for, you know, the likes of Kangaroo Kenny, the coach as well, because years ago he was one of the first coaches when he was in Tier 2, Tier 3 in Europe to take the style of play that was prevalent inside of Brazil, you know, stealing from what the core of this Furia roster were doing and introducing that to Europe to now go head-to-head against them at an international tournament. This is such a big opportunity for him to really show what he has got us, you know, being able to do with his team.
KZ will pick up the Deimos in this round, and we saw a lot of teams using this during the qualifiers to make it to this event. And well, Gibson, you're seeing to me. What was that you're pointing out to me?
Yeah, Oscar bringing the shotgun on the Solace as well.
Not uncommon.
Not uncommon, but it's worth pointing out.
Exactly. Again, limits that range of capability. P90, of course, can send bullets down range at a terrifying rate. Will we see that death mark be a factor? You like to call that force 1v1. Allows that pressure. First of those new increased number of Banshees sent out, and well, look at this! Are you kidding me, Noah? Gets one, can't make it two, but that's the bravery I want to see. Furia walk on in, Kendrew gets JV92, and doesn't matter, you might have Candelas, but look what's upstairs, it's a Warden.
But the case has gone down. It's a 4v3 post-plant situation now, so in the midst of the madness, Furia have got the diffuser down. ITB know where it is, but post-plant positions being held by this team from Brazil. This is a big gunfight that's going to come. Azure peeking by the double door, the Nomad charge goes off, but nobody's there to take advantage of it. You got to clear the players outside the window. Philippox is going to find Oscar. You can see the impacts being thrown, but Daybos is going to go for a peek. KZ will find the kill on the Creeds, another on the Kendrew. KZ does it all by himself. Furia win the round.
KZ, I was familiar with the game, but you've reminded me of how good it is. I was caught up with the bravery. I like that from Noah. Noah, and I was talking about this, a player that has to have the confidence to play exceptionally. And if Noah's taking jump outs against a side like Furia, that is a great sign for ITB. But Furia, get that case down, stick it, and you're not going to beat Regimented Furia on events plant. You're just not going to do it. They're not going to give you anything. And well, KZ, when you've got someone on the cover of the case just as good as that, well, it was ice cold from him, finding 3 just like that.
But they had Ying, Deimos, and they had the Dokkaebi. You had the Candelas going off, you had the Deimos targeting the Legion, and you had the Dokkaebi call going out at the same time. So even though Noah jumped out, that didn't stop Furia for going for their execute. It's an excellent line. Look, everyone was talking last year at SI about how big of a player Herds is. KZ is every bit as important. I would actually argue that KZ and Herds are the best duo that we have ever seen in Siege when it comes to that fragging potential that they bring. Both of them, Whippet, both of them hold the SI kill record. 2 players on the same team holding the same amount of kills over an entire tournament.
Listen, Sao Paulo was poetic, but that certainly is another aspect of it. Both locking out that record. Fury now lead by 1 round, scoreline 2-1, of course. Creeds considering, perhaps pondering an aggressive play, jumping out of this balcony window. Risky one, nade sent down, it will buy some space, forces Noah back. I do like the confidence this side has played with. The Doc in this position is going to be able to fortify, keep themselves in this fight a little bit longer. Long line of sight held from Box as well. Gives that extra support they need to keep that balcony.
Yeah, the key things Whippet to keep an eye on though is Box got to get in below to clear half wall, and they're going to use that Capital to try clear the Doc as well.
Hello, Doc can heal through it. And well, speaking of that Doc, Noah finds one that hurts. Heals himself back up the fall as well, so anything gained from that encounter from the side of Furia now lost. They lose that IQ. Nade stacked up, double loss of shield, double claymore. Everything to hold that take. Archives is the primary intention of this take. Does ITB realize? Do they have the resources to deal with it? Capital ready, this is going to be a perfect execution. Not much you can do against that one. And that's why they're your world champions. Kendrew caught out. Great cohesion from this side, and the execution likely imminent. Toxic counter slows that down, and that 10 seconds gives ITB a blanket to make the adjustments and their changes, but Nade retracts that shield and falls back. Maybe Fury might try something new.
Yeah, but they've got all the crosses being held. They've got the, reverse verticality on the site as well. The time is being choked up, but look at how quickly they're being forced to use those toxic canisters. But this is not on schedule for ITB whatsoever. Furia are just forcing them into positions. Oscar with a huge C4 is going to find the kill on Nade though, and that changes things because there's another kill from Creeds.
That C4 gets the case down cold out in that balcony. Creeds finding one more to Philippox. That's the quickest player that they could have used to react. Everyone's far away. Sandwich window and downstairs. Furia, 60 seconds, lots of time to make rotations. They need to win every engagement on the way. Up metal stairs, gonna be JV92. We hop on board, has the information and wins the fight. Oscar gets one in the chaos. KZ falls. All down to JV92. Can't get it done against Creeds. ITB bring themselves level once again. And Gibby, we spoke to Corey a little bit before we went live with this one, and you said you were expecting Fury to be dominant here. You expected a quick game. We said it's going to be a very close one. So far, no team can find separation. I think anything, we're on for a 7-5 either way.
It's been a very good start to the game. Both teams trading rounds back and forward. Very similar to what we've seen at the start of the SSG W7M game. However, the big difference is both of these teams are a little bit more equal when it comes to finding the opening kill. It's not all one-way traffic in the early stages of the round. Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is...
I might. No, I will.
Yeah, for those of you can't see Whippet at home, but he is bouncing around here. We were like, we're going to go very calm with this game. It's a best of one, nobody's going home. But Whippet is bouncing off the ceilings because ITB are playing well.
Listen, ITB play well. I'm cheering for them. My inner fan comes out. A little bit of secret. Every caster is a little bit biased. I'm just a little louder with mine sometimes.
A little bit.
A little bit. Just a little bit. Tiny bit.
They moved the schedule around to make sure you wouldn't cover a Liquid game because they knew it would just be the Liquid show.
Yeah, that is true, unfortunately. But, I mean, okay, I'll bring it back down, back to neutral observer. ITB have played this very well.
You're not an observer, you're a caster.
The deadpan stare I was giving the camera, I should have given it to Gibson for that one. But ITB have played this very well. They've slowed down Furia, and they've kind of neutralized that very aggressive tip of the spear style so far in the rounds that they got a victory on. Key's going to be keeping up that opening pick on this defense for ITB. Shield comes out though. Philippox on that blitz. Difficult tool to solve for ITB. Again, can buy that space for free. Not for free, but very quickly. And I think it's going to be a very scary experience for Noah. Crossfire just ahead of him, and a shield can be bearing down upon this lineup as the Candela is sent in through Dome. And here we go, Philippox will charge on in, take that control, but the cover is good from Creeds. And why not pop out for 2? ITB go huge, finding 3 just like that, but there is one trade, and Nade gets it back on Creeds.
That is a big kill on the round, but there we go. Noah finds another 4 versus 1. It's all down to Nade. ITB, they forgot they were sleeping on Creeds, who plays that position all the time on border. If you do your VOD review of ITB, you know that's where Creeds is going to be found, and he manages to get a double. So, at this point, Nade's going to sit outside. He's going to bait. The case is cold. He's just going to try to buy as much time in the round as he can, wait for ITB to maybe make a mistake, but steps down the stairs, little damage done. Azur with the Frost will get the kill, and ITB take the lead in this matchup.
Very first time in this matchup, very first time they've ever led against Furia. For the history, it's the first time they ever played, of course, but I'll build this up best I can. But right there, we saw not only a combination of confidence, positioning, but everything. Philippox thinks he can get this for free. The mist drone happens, Creed gets one, and then the confidence go, I'll get one more. We see Oscar get one in the distance. Not sure where that arrived from, but Noah finding that pick there on these stairs as well. ITV collapse on the push from Furia. Furia tried to get aggressive, tried to use their aggression to work in their favor, didn't go their way. So they now trail by a single round, 3-2 your scoreline. ITV in the defense, looking very good so far. So I think it's the best form we've seen them in ever.
They've guaranteed 3 rounds on the defense already. This is the final round on the defensive half. They could very easily take a 4-2 because this is not going the way of your world champions. Now, this is the best thing about Furia, though. And, I'm going to rewind just a little bit, get everyone's expectations down. I've spoken to Philippox several times.
You could say Gibson Cast's friend Philippox.
Well, now that you say it, I don't think he feels the same way, but to me, it's that way. But he told me that they have to lose a game at every event. He's like, if they want to win the tournament, they need to lose a game early on to reset their mental. Now, I don't think when he said it, he meant game number 1.
No. I mean, you got to think about this, though. Today, with the format we're running today, of course, it's going to be a best of 1. You lose, it's best of 1. You're into an elimination best of 3 later on today. You don't want to be in that position. This is day 1. No one wants to go home early, even though they get to stay out the whole time. But you know what? Everyone wants to be playing and try and progress further and further every single day. So there is that going to be that pressure and expectation of these teams.
Yeah. You were waiting for Creeds to maybe be in that position, but he's gone.
I saw that window open up. I thought Creeds was going to send it on out again. I would have been stuck to the ceiling if that happened. I would have jumped up with joy.
Well, there's Herd's getting a freebie onto Oscar. He finds one. He knows there's a player in and around half wall, as well as the Doku call, the logic bomb has been deployed. And at this point, if you're in that position, you got to turn off the aggression a little bit. Creeds is going to swing and Creeds is going to fall. Actually, Creeds gets put into DB&O, but he gets the kill on to Herds. Should be cleaned up pretty quickly. Malusi's running in. Malusi's going to fall. JV92 with a double inside of Fountain. And now Furia in a really good position to get the 3-3 half.
And this is way more back to the style of expected this matchup to be. This is how Furia play, and they're going to be able to solve this pretty easily from this moment. 4-2, they lead in player count. Kendrew is wounded. Does get one. Maybe a lifeline. Nope, not too long. JV92 will find his second in this round on towards a wounded Kendrew, leaving it all down to Azur. Now, he got a 4K earlier on, have a massive impact. That's fine, 3 more to go. Some free damage through the wall. Good Mine keeps going up, but KZ's just too good at that SMG-12. Swings out wide, gets the job done. And Furia bring us level after 6 rounds. ITB, world champions, level after 6.
If you've told ITB before this started that you'd get a 3-3 defensive half on border against Furia, you'd be pretty happy. You would take that, right? Obviously, you always want more, but you'll take the 3-3. Now they're on attack on border. This is where you'll be really tested against a team like Furia, because now you're the team that kind of has to set the tempo a little bit. You've got to be the aggressors, and Furia, if anything else, are experts at picking up the pieces when a team tries to get ahead of themselves.
Different variation now that we see from Furia, Fenrir, Vigil, Aruni. Very different approach to what we've seen so far in terms of everything, but this is going to be a very slow style, right? You cannot deal with it. You can't posture an angle with confidence if there's going to be a FNAT on it. You can't. You're going to be blinded by it. Vigil is going to deny your comfort on that drone. Just seeing those markers around your camera, you're going to be worried about that pressure arriving from it. Legion is going to be able to make that difficulty if you walk around the corner. You're going to get stuck by it, and of course, those laser gates are going to burn that utility later on that round.
The big thing that I'd say a lot of people in the community are happy of, though, it's not the Boss G. That thing is a terror right now in the current state of the game. Little bit of early aggression here from Herds as he goes for the early round spawn peak, but as we can see in the silhouettes, there's nobody in that postcode whatsoever. And this is the one thing I said that ITB are very good at doing on border, setting up a drone network. And they've got drones in place. They've saved 2 drones from the prep phase, but they're going to try to get as much intel on these positions because what they want to do is isolate the soft spot or the individual Furia player who's a little bit isolated from the rest of the team and force that kill.
ITB are going to take this initial stage around very slowly. As you mentioned, the drone network is good. We saw that red ping arriving. They're fully aware of the Fenrir on East Stairs. Question is, how do they deal with it now? Now, it's all well and good having that information. The next step is solving the problem. Now, Creed on that Finca has access to 2 grenades that can buy that space they might desperately need. They're not going to opt for it, knowing there's going to be pressure in break room now. That's going to be a pivot. No, down towards Passport. Well, so close to those players, separated by a brick wall, nothing they can do. And this drone needs to be good from Creeds.
This is what it's about. They're still trying to find that soft spot where you can get that opening kill. As we can see, Herds is just on the other side of that wall.
North American hammer. So,
no, you don't want North America to get a hammer with.
Oh, true. Come on. First of those Fenrir gadgets that we see deployed, actively blinding the pressure, looking for it, find it eventually, delaying vital seconds for this push inside of Passport. No picks arriving either way. Furia will now take that and go, okay. Pressure from ITB. Let's fall back. Let's not risk it. Let's not give them the opening pick. And as I say that, Philippox falls to Azure, gets the job done. Not sure where the source of that happens, but he gets it no matter what. Candela's sent out. They'll buy East Stairs for free. They can charge in and take that. Still cautious from ITB, and I like this. As Noah gets one more on the Herds, and I love this from ITB. This is confidence from them.
Yeah, there's another one. Oscar from the vents window gets another kill. It's a 5v2 with 50 seconds. That's an eternity to work with, but Nade finds a beautiful headshot onto Oscar. Silhouette on the other side of the wall. A ton of damage being done onto Finca, but you know what? That utility, pretty handy for getting yourself out of a tough situation like low HP. Casey finds another. Azur's there to trade it as he gets a double on the round. It is all down to Nade. You've got a 3v1. You know he's in and around sight. You've got 30 seconds to work with. The main thing now is you don't want to overspeed this, but you don't want to be too slow either. Get yourself in a situation where you can trade this one out, because that's what Kenny loves to do.
The scary thing is, though, even in this 3 versus 1, Furia are still in this fight. Less so now blinded, but Nade has a lot of pressure here. No utility, the body stacking up for him. He knows the cover's going to arrive from main stairs, and he finds that ITB in trouble here. This is where the world champions shine. Oh, it's going to be Nade. Absolute masterclass. Creeds, all the pressure, 000 here. He needs to win this one. And he can't do it. A quad from Nade. That's why he has a hammer. That's why this team's the best in the world.
Remember what I just said. You've got to be not too quick that you're reckless, but not too slow that you put yourself in that situation. They were too slow, and then you get yourself in a situation where all Creeds can do is stick the plant. You as a defender know exactly where that case is going down, and at some point, against maybe a player who's not been at many major international tournaments, is going to peak at some point. But we have the ITB timeout very early on the attacking half.
This is what I like, though, and we're going to actually hop on. We can see this is going to be Kangaroo Kenny, the coach we all talk so much about, but this is the timeout that I'm very intrigued with. Now, ITB have a habit. They call it early. Kenny likes to try and adjust things across his team. He can use it to break momentum, and you can see he's animated. He knows this is a winnable position, but that was a brutal round to take. 3 versus 1. Nade gets the job done, and realistically, they played everything right. They had someone to cover it. It was just gunfight after gunfight after gunfight that they lost. Couldn't make it stick, and again, Kenny, he'll be animated. He'll not be furious, but he'll know what he needs to get this team across. They need to make that amendment now, and this will be the test going into this next round. Can they get the job done? Round 8, post-timeout. Does ITB bring us level yet again?
If I'm not wrong, it was actually a 5v2 at one point even inside that round.
Yes, it was.
And the one thing that teams like ITB do brilliantly is trade, right? Once they get the numbers. So the whole thought process is, if it's a 4v3, and you get aggressive, and you lose a player, but there's someone there to trade it back, you keep the number advantage. You can force your way into the... Like, let's not be mean, because Nate had some beautiful shots. Yes. That was a brilliant quad kill clutch, but we put it into that question mark. Was that won by Nate, or did ITB make too many little mistakes?
To have a play like that happen, you have to have a combination of mistakes and exceptional play. They come together to meet, and you get a Nade 4K to save that round from them. But ITB, well, the ending wasn't pretty. Not what the result it was. The steps they took to get there were exceptional. They got themselves that advantage. And you're going to lose every so often. You're going to lose a 1vx or whatever. It's going to happen. It's the nature of the beast when we play a game like Siege. So,
if it's me or you, we lose them every day.
Well, you've been playing more this season than I have, so you've been losing them.
Always.
I've never seen you lose a club. Oh.
I am a brilliant drone phase player.
That is true. You are honestly one of the best droners I've ever seen in the prep phase. Never lose them. Never really leave spawn either.
We got a trick. We just had a trick we worked off successfully there on the defense as Buck was trying to open up that detention wall, and that's a valuable bit of utility utilized already, because you look at the attacking lineup, they've only got one can opener left. That's the only hard reach they've got left, and KZ very lucky to get away with his life there.
Logic bomb goes out. One player makes that rotation, will be heard. They'll take their time to correct this, and the mirror window staring down towards these stairs. Difficult problem now to solve for ITB. We see no retreat from that one, beginning to think about how they deal with it. That will indicate a player's going to be in Brazil, the position behind it. So how do they react to this? They see that utility to the wall, I believe a yokai drone. Actually, no, something else.
It's defensive utility.
Yes,
that's what
there we go.
That's what it is.
Use the blanket term, get everything right.
Exactly. But you can see some soft pings, the yellow pings going out. There's nobody there, but obviously they've heard or seen something that they think that a player, or there could be some pressure coming from that area of the map. Now, that mirror window is having such an impact on this position because you can't really peek the long angle because you don't want to take the risk that there's somebody there. A minute and a half left on the round. And I would say Fury have set this up beautifully. A swing comes through, and KZ, for the second time in this round, gets away with his life in order. And here is another one of those logic bombs being deployed.
Last of the two logic bombs available to work with. Realistically, ITB would have loved to have that opening pick on KZ. Massive player take off the board. Slower round. They're looking for a way in, and JV92 will get one to Noah. The plant, though, hands to Kendrew, might go down. Cover's not quite good enough. The smoke's enough to blind it. Do they look the right way? Kendrew can't get it down. 3 in the round for JV92 and a flawless one for Furia. ITB can't convert their tactical timeout, and maybe the miracle run on this map of border might be over.
Fractions of a second away from getting that
Always
case down. It's always heartbreaking, but for Furia, they're just doing a great job. Look,